want first to thank the organizer of this event, and it's a real pleasure for me, and I know when I talked, a lot of people behind me are talking, to share our experience of the participatory budgeting of Paris. Well, few things before to know about Paris. I'm sure you know Paris, the city of light, but there's things that you might not know, that Paris, during a very long time, didn't have a mayor or local elected members. It's mainly because Parisians were known as rebel, and so the state was managing the city. Because every French Revolution started in Paris, so the state preferred to have the management of the city and not have their local represented members. So the city of Paris, little by little, has developed its own local government. And now we are happy to have a mayor with her woman. She's Anne Hidalgo. She has been elected in 2014. And so few data about Paris. So we are 2.3 million inhabitants. Paris is actually quite small. It's 100 square kilometers with a very high density. Our budget is 8 billion euros per year, which are actually 9 now. It's 8 millions in fonctionnement. Fonctionnement. And 1 billion in investment. So very important to know, Paris is divided into 20 districts, and each district has a mayor. We will see that it is important. And the Council of Paris is composed with 163 council members. I'm the chief of staff of Pauline Véron. She's, as Giovanni said, in charge of implementing the participatory budgeting in Paris. The city of Paris has 55,000 officers, so it's a very big administration with a lot of different competencies, and it's divided into 20 different departments. A few key figures about our participatory budgeting. So our PB is 5% of the capital fund of the city. This is a commitment from the mayor. She made this commitment during the campaign. So that represents around 500 million euros during the 6 year of her mandate. So it's about 100 million euros per year that are transferred to the people's choice. The criteria for the PB are, I think, not very original. It has to be capital money, so there's no fonctionnement. It has to be, of course, under the city's competencies, and also it has to be a project of general interest. So I can't redo my own apartment with the PB. As you may have seen already, there's 4 main stages. The first stage is that you generate and collect all the project. The second one is to make the feasibility study and the cost evaluation if the project is feasible. Then there is a vote by the Parisians, and then a very important phase, which is to implement the different projects. It's very important, as you said before, to gain the trust. So I was saying it was important that Paris is divided into 20 districts because we are actually running 21 different PBs in Paris. There is one participatory budgeting in each district and one for the whole Paris. So when a project concerns a very specific location, so this is a project for the local PB, the district PB, and when it is a project that can be replicated in the 20 different districts, or if it is a big facility like a stadium, we won't do 20 stadium of hockey in Paris, so such a project would be in the Paris PB. What we did is that we wanted that every district come into the game. So every district has a budget, an investment budget. And what we did is that we made an incentive mechanism in order that for each euro that they will dedicate to the PB, the mayor of Paris will add 1 or 2 euro. So last year it was for 1 euro we were adding 1 euro, and since 2016 for each euro that the district mayor will dedicate, the mayor of Paris will add 2 euros. So, for example, in the district number 18, if the mayor decides to put 2 million euros in his PB, the mayor of Paris will add 4 million euros. So the 18th district PB will be 6 million euros. Here, I don't know if you can see correctly, but so you can see the Parisian PB will be in 2016 30 million euros, and 65 million euros will be into the different district, and each district has a specific amount according to the will of the mayor, of the district mayor. Also in 2016 we have decided to start a new experience with school participatory budgeting. Maybe we can talk about that a bit later. Also in 2016 we wanted to make the PB a tool of redistribution. So in Paris between 18 and 20% of the people is living in working class neighborhood. So we have decided that 30% of the budget will be dedicated to these people living in this neighborhood. So that's why there's 30 million of euro which are dedicated to this neighborhood, and in each district where there are such neighborhood, a part of the budget is dedicated to them. And also on the PB, on the Paris PB, there is half of it dedicated to this neighborhood. Also, we added something in 2016 which didn't do last year. Last year we will see that, but we had a great surprise which turned into a little nightmare. When we opened the platform to collect the project, during the 2 months we have collected more than 5,000 projects. So we commit to study every project. So suddenly it was a great happiness, but also a nightmare for the people working on it. And but it was a sympathetic nightmare. And so this year we have decided that instead of putting project together ourselves, we would work directly with the inhabitant. And so we have organized a new stage which is currently happening, where if a project are similar or concern the same place, we invite the people to meet each other, and that way from 5 or 6 projects they will convert it into one collective project. So this is an example of such meetings. About generating and collecting project, it's only online in Paris for the moment. So we have developed a first platform, we developed a second platform this year. So the platform this year has new tools, mapping tools, so you can localize correctly your project. And this localization is very important because when you suggest a project, the platform immediately will tell you, oh, maybe you should join another project because there is already a project at this place, and according to the title you put, there are some similarities. So that way this year we didn't have any more 5,000 projects, but 3,200, which is still a lot. But we could see that a lot of people joined together during this stage and avoid to drop a new project which was not new actually. So the vote. In 2015, the vote lasted 10 days, 16 days actually. In Paris, everybody can vote if you're Parisian, whatever your nationality and whatever your age. We consider that if you can read, you are authorized to vote. The vote can be online, so there is a platform dedicated for that, and also by paper. And there are around 200 voting offices in the city. Some of these offices are open during the 16 days, and some of them are just open on specific places during specific time. For example, there will be a voting office open just during the market, on the marketplace, in order to go to meet the people and explain them the process. To vote, you just have to give a few information. If you vote online, you have to create an account, and if you vote by paper. You just have to fill a notebook and give some information like your name, your address, your zip code, and your date of birth. So we have some data, not a lot, but at least with these data we can try to do some statistics. So in 2015 during the vote, because there was a lot of projects submitted, there were a lot of projects also on the ballots. So we were a bit afraid of that. For example, on the Parisian PB, there were 77 projects which were submitted to vote. So it's quite hard actually when you have to choose among 77 projects. If you have to go vote for the presidential election and you have 77 candidates, it's hard to choose. So it was a limit of the exercise. And in the different districts, there were 547 different projects submitted. 67,000 voters, which was an increase of 60% with 2014. And as you can see, it's 60-40, the distribution of electronic vote and paper vote. Something very interesting for us is that 30% of the voters are less than 30, which is much higher than traditional election. And we also could see that the social network help a lot to inform the young people to this. Some challenge that I have identified. So first, you need a very strong political support. All that is possible because the mayor of Paris wants it, and she is pushing us to implement this PB. And I really think that without her, it wouldn't be possible. The first meetings we made with her after the few weeks after we started, she wanted a vote immediately. She wanted that the first year we had implemented already something. So that was very nice from her. And we had to work a lot to implement in only a few weeks a first PB, but it's very important that this political support exists. Second thing that I wanted to share that in the city you have different disposals of participation, and the PB is one of them. And it's very important that the PB is connected to the other disposal of participation. And you can't ignore that you have neighborhood council. You can't ignore that you have different organization, different space where people can participate. Everything has to be connected. It's not the PB against the other. It's really the PB amongst the other disposal. Something important also is the implementation of such process was a total revolution into the culture and the organization of the administration. Suddenly, the work organization was totally different. Now, every officer knows that between March and June, they know that they will receive hundreds of projects directly from the inhabitants, and they will have to work on this project. Now they know that they will have to go to public meetings and to share with the inhabitants about what do they know, why is it possible, why is it not possible. So this is a very, very strong revolution in the culture. I can't write it, but I will say it's also a very strong revolution for the elected members, because suddenly they are not the only one deciding. They are delegating a part of their budget, and they can say what they think, but at the end the decision is taken by the inhabitants. So it's a big change. Also, it's a challenge that everybody, elected members, but also civil servants, understand that the participatory budgeting is actually a great opportunity to deliver a better service and to understand better what are the expectations of the citizens. Also, such a project is so big, we didn't realize that at the beginning, but it is such a transformation that you need a very strong steering committee in order to follow the process. Also, something that we have discovered and we had to adapt is that you need people to implement a PB. Today we have a department which is dedicated to that. There's 9 people working on it only. And during the time where the civil servants are doing the feasibility study, there are around 300 people dedicated to the participatory budgeting process. A challenge that we had also is we had two ways of deciding how to do it. We could think over during 2 years, design the best process as possible, and maybe do it after. But we didn't choose that way. We said, okay, we go straight, and we don't consider that we are the best in the world. Yes, a French person is saying that. And we will try, and we will see what happens. And if we have to adapt it, we will adapt it. So it is it is a very good experience because we learn every year and we try to adapt every year. Also, a challenge is our relationship with time. So Giovanni can say that maybe I'm too long, but the time is very important because when people say we want to the implementation of, I don't know, the renovation of a basketball field, they expect that when it's voted, it will be done the next month. And actually, you have to explain to people that it takes time. That when you want to plant a tree in a sidewalk, it's not just digging a hole and planting a tree. It takes time. And when you have to buy something, you have some rules to respect. And sometimes the rules make that it lasts a year. But it is a public market that you have to respect. After, I have other challenges, but maybe we can talk about that later. It's very important to have a very strong IT system. The first year we started with something very light, and when we had to manage 5,000 IDs with Excel, it was a night job. So the third year, this year, we have developed a back office system in order to follow all the project and to transfer the project from a department to other department, and in order to really follow the instruction of the project. It's very important to have a great communication because the ID is quite simple, but actually there's plenty of questions that people have, and it's important to answer them with a great communication. And it's very important to develop educational tool in order to explain everything about how the city works, which is also one of the goals of the PB, is that people have to understand how the city works, and if they understand better, they can judge better. And so one of the challenges is to develop the participation of the people living in the working class neighborhood. It's important to have a readable vote. So what I said earlier is when you have 77 projects to vote, it's very hard. It's very important to be transparent. All our platform is, everything is transparent. All the data are open data. If we say no to a project, the answer is online with a good reason. It's just not just no. And it's important to keep people informed about the implementation of the project. And also for us, and it's also a reason why I'm here, it's very important to develop a network of cities involved in PB, because if we stay alone and just looking our belly button, we will have problem in the next years. So it's very important that we develop relationship with other cities in order to exchange best practices. That is.